Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Ketubot page 25, which discusses how are we able to know, based on certain things that we see, that an individual is 100% a Cohein. So we know that there are certain things that a Cohein does, and because we may see him doing certain things, that may be enough proof. And the Talmud discusses, for example, in the synagogue, if he will go up in front of everyone and do what's called Nasias Kapayim, which is the raising of one's hands, giving a special Kohanic blessing to the congregation, is that proof beyond the shadow of doubt that this person is a Cohen, or maybe not? Also, if we would see him eating food which is designated specifically to a Cohen, such as Truma, is that enough as well to establish him totally as a Cohen? Now, when it comes to the way a person goes to a synagogue, we know that part of the service is there is a Torah reading, and there are different aliyot. People are called up to the Torah. And on a typical weekday, Monday, Thursday, there are 3 aliyot. The first aliyah is given to a Cohen, the second to a Levi, and the third to someone who is neither a Cohen or Levi, namely a Yisrael. So here the Talmud discusses, if a person says, I know for a fact this guy must be a Cohen. So what did you see? I saw that he got the first aliyah in synagogue. So it must be he was a Cohen. So they asked him, well, maybe he's not a Cohen. It's possible, what happens if there's no Kohanim in synagogue? So we still have Torah reading, we still have to call people up. He says, yes. But the second person that got called up was 100% a Levi. Everyone knows the second person was a Levi. So in the event that you have this order, Cohen, Levi, Israel, that's the only time the Levi will get the second aliyah. If there's no Cohen, and let's say there's 1 Levi and 9 Yisrael, we're not going to give the second person, second aliyah, a Levi is not going to get that aliyah. And the reason is because otherwise, this first person will just automatically think he's a Cohen. And the fact is, if we do give the second aliyah to a Levi, then it means, in fact, this first guy has to be a Cohen. Interestingly enough, it's the same way, the other way around. If we say, I know for a fact this guy's a Levi, how do I know? What'd you see? So I was in synagogue one day, and I saw that he got the second aliyah. Well, how do you know that that proves anything? Because the first person was a Cohen. And we know that if you go to a synagogue and there is a Cohen, he gets the first aliyah, and then we ask, is there a Levi here? So if there is no Levi, the Cohen actually will not only just get the first aliyah, we also give him the second one. He does 2 of the 3. We call him up bimkom Levi. And therefore, if in fact it's true that this person was not a Levi, the second guy, we would not have called him up. We would have given the aliyah to the Cohen, which we're talking about a totally separate case where we know this guy is definitely a Cohen. So we would have given that Cohen the second aliyah. And therefore, the fact that this person is, in fact, was given the second aliyah is a proof that he's a Levi. So we see from this that one certainly has to be knowledgeable, especially when you're calling people up to the Torah, because by calling them up in certain number, certain order, number 1 or number 2, that could in fact establish to everyone whether or not this person is a Cohen or a Levi.